We begin the newscast with two withdrawals. First, President Rodrigo Duterte has decided not to pursue a Senate seat in next year's elections. This came just hours after his daughter, Vice Presidential aspirant Sara Duterte Carpio, endorsed his candidacy.
Prior to him dropping out, his longtime aide, Senator Bong Go, also formalized his exit from the presidential race. This comes 2 weeks after the lawmaker announced that he's letting go of his presidential ambitions. He says that he and Duterte have yet to pick their next bet for the elections.
Wala na po ako sa karerang ito sa pagtakbo bilang Pangulo ngayong 2022. Inantay ko lang po ng konting panahon na ipaintindi po sa mga supporters ko na talagang nagre-resist po ang aking puso at ang aking isipan sa pagtakbo bilang Pangulo. Tulungan nyo na lang po kami ni Pangulong Duterte na piliin po kung sino yung makakapagpatuloy ng mga pagbabagong inumpisahan ni Pangulong Duterte.
Good evening. I'm Maricel Halili.
I'm Robbie Alampay. You're watching The Big Story. With ruling party PDP Laban now left without a presidential bet, the guessing game now focuses on whom the president will endorse for the 2022 elections.
Substitution is no longer allowed in this case as the deadline for that has lapsed last November 15. Greg Gregorio with a big story.
Will he finally be retiring from politics? After deciding to give the Senate a shot, President Duterte has decided to withdraw from the 2022 senatorial race. Accompanying him was Executive Secretary Salvador Medjaldea. The move came just hours after his daughter, Vice Presidential aspirant Sara Duterte Carpio, endorsed his candidacy for senator. But as early as December 11, the chief executive already signed his withdrawal papers. After his filing, Duterte opted not to have any interview with the media and immediately left the vicinity. Hours before him, his longtime aide, Senator Bong Go, also backed out of the presidential race. After flip-flopping on his plans for 2022 several times, Go this time went to the COMELEC main office in Manila to withdraw his candidacy. Go said the move has long been decided since his announcement on November 30. In fact, he signed a statement of withdrawal as early as December 8.
Inantay ko lang po ng konting panahon na ipaintindi po sa mga supporters ko na talagang nagre-resist po ang aking puso at ang aking isipan sa pagtakbo bilang Pangulo.
With this withdrawal, the current administration is no longer fielding any presidential candidate. Go said that President Duterte has yet to choose the presidential aspirant they will back in the polls.
Tulungan nyo na lang po kami ni Pangulong Duterte na piliin po kung sino yung makakapagpatuloy ng mga pagbabagong inumpisahan ni Pangulong Duterte.
In a statement, Federalismo ng Dugong Dakilang Samahan President Greco Belgica said the party continues to support President Duterte and Go despite the withdrawal of their candidacies. The party, however, can no longer field and substitute candidates, as the timeline for substitution due to a voluntary withdrawal has already lapsed on November 15. President Duterte's and Senator Go's names will also no longer be part of the official list of candidates for the 2022 polls. The COMELEC expects to release its full list in at least 2 weeks' time. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
How is PDP Laban going to proceed in next year's elections, and whom will they back among the current list of aspirants? That big question and more with Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Attorney Salvador Panelo. Good evening, Attorney Panelo. Welcome to The Big Story.
Good evening, Maricel and Robbie.
Apo. Sir, umpisa po tayo kay President Duterte. Yung kay Senator Bongo, hindi naman po surprise yun. He had signaled this weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, that he wanted to pull out. Pero bakit po si President Duterte? Bakit po pati yung Senate run niya inatras?
Ang pagkakaalam ko, sabi niya sa akin, yung kanyang pamilya, nag-aalala sa kanya na mas maganda rin na magpahinga na, baka yung kanyang kalakaran sa edad, saka yung mga nararamdaman niya, baka kailangan na talaga magpahinga muna siya. Yan ang sabi niya sa akin.
Nabanggit niyo po yung pamilya niya, but one thing that people have been noting, pinirmahan niya pala yung withdrawal form nung Friday pa. And yet, this morning, Sara Duterte actually put her father on her list of senatorials to endorse. So when you speak of family, does that mean that Sara Duterte, for some reason or another, was not in on those discussions?
Unang-una, si Mayor Sara ay busy sa kanyang kampanya. Si Presidente naman busy sa kanyang trabaho bilang Presidente. And it is not surprising kung hindi siya na magkakausap ngayong mga araw na ito. Talagang napakahirap. Ang komunikasyon ngayon sa bawat isa mahirap dahil lahat ay busy sa kanilang mga ginagawa ngayon. Pangalawa, ito lang nga tayong dalawa lang, nahihirapan tayo mag-communicate because of communication problem natin. Mahirap talaga. But what is important is, sangayon kay Presidente, kaya siya mag-withdraw, ang tingin ng kanyang pamilya, kailangan na siyang mag-retiro at mamahinga at siya'y nakapaglingkod na sa bayan ng buong katapatan at marami na siyang naisagawa ng mga reforma at pagbabago dito sa ating bansa.
Sige, we'll take it from there. Sinabi rin po kanina ni Senator Bong Go, pagdasal nyo na lang, tulungan niya kaming piliin kung sino ang i-endorse ng Pangulo. Alam niyo po ba kung sino napupusuan ng Pangulo?
Hindi po natin alam kung sino ang endorse o kung may i-endorse siya. Alam niyo naman si Presidente, palaging hindi niya sinasabi kung anong nasa saloobin niya pagdating sa mga personal na desisyon niya, kahit nga official na desisyon.
Sige, maraming salamat po, Attorney Panelo. That was Attorney Salvador Panelo, Chief Legal Counsel. Just before the President decided to drop out of the senatorial race, his daughter, Vice Presidential aspirant Sara Duterte, as we had said, had included him in her senatorial slate. Included in the list are former Duterte cabinet officials like Harry Roque and Mark Villar. Former Senators Jinggoy Estrada and Loren Legarda were also added. Gibo Teodoro and Herbert Bautista complete the slate. Aksyon Demokratiko standard bearer and Manila Mayor Isko Moreno, meanwhile, finally met his paternal relatives during a family reunion in Iloilo. Isko attributed his success and journey to his parents Joaquin and Chayong Dumagoso. Moreno said he's happy to touch base with his roots. And Senator Manny Pacquiao, who's also gunning for the country's top post, unveiled his economic team in a sortie in Davao. This will be led by his campaign manager, businessman Buddy Zamora. Other members include PROMD Party List Chairman Mimo Osmeña and property developer Toti Carino, among others.
These are the other big stories tonight. Strawberries are now in season, but Benguet farmers are not celebrating as smuggled Korean strawberries as well as vegetables from China dominate the market. Right before it enters the Philippines tonight, Tropical Storm Odette has intensified into a severe tropical storm. Its arrival will hamper the vaccine drive in select areas. And ready to watch hard court action live? The PBA is all set to welcome live audience members at the Araneta Coliseum beginning tomorrow. This big stories after the break.
Good evening. You're still watching The Big Story. I'm Robbie Alampay.
And I'm Maricel Halili. The holiday should be a season when farmers can sell their goods at a time when demand is high. But Benguet farmers claim they are facing stiff competition from smuggled food produce.
A group of farmers and traders are claiming that these smuggled agricultural items may pose health risks as it bypass supposedly quality inspection. Leon Los Baños with the story.
Many Filipinos now flock to Divisoria to stock up on food items for holiday celebrations. But some of these goods, including carrots and cabbages, have been a source of pain for Benguet farmers and traders. Appearing before the Senate, they alleged that vegetables have been smuggled from China to Divisoria for the past 2 months. They claim that the smuggling is so large-scale that it has affected 130,000 stakeholders due to market preference for cheaper imported vegetables.
At a daily rate, nagpapadala po ang buong Benguet and other parts of Cordillera ng 1.5 million kilos of assorted vegetables per day. Pag ito po ganitong pinapasok tayo ng mga smuggled goods, hindi na po na-order yung mga gulay natin dito.
Nasa mga warehouse sa Divisoria, sa Tondo, Manila at sa Carbon Market sa Cebu. Mr. President, ayon sa ating mga vegetable growers, bumagsak ang presyo ng gulay tulad ng carrots mula 70 pesos a kilo at naging 25 pesos na lamang a kilo nung bumahana ang smuggled na carrots.
Even the entry of Korean strawberries threatens one of their main produce. These imported products, the group says, also poses health risks.
Actually, mas malaki po yung jumbo size ng strawberry ng Benguet kumpara doon po sa Korean strawberry. Ang diferensya lang po, which is why yun din po yung question namin. 1 month po yan na nasa cold storage, nag-travel po yan, pero hindi po siya nalamog.
Sa tagal ng biyahe, bakit sariwa pa? May mga preservatives yan. We should really avoid buying them. Yun ang talagang totoo nun. Di ba? Delikado, kaya nga high risk eh.
The Bureau of Plant Industry has said in the past that the imported strawberries will not affect the local suppliers as it is more expensive due to its quality. But the timing of its entry did not sit well with lawmakers, especially now that the fruit is in season.
Actually, not the intention to kill the local farmers. Being part of the trade organization, so we have to balance.
For Senator Ping Lacson, there must be an interagency conspiracy. That's why illegal importations persist despite several inspections in ports. The Bureau of Customs acknowledges that there are really smuggled goods in the country.
We admit, sir, that in some instances, ito ay nasisingit, sir, sa mga containers. Napapalamanan ba yung mga containers? As I have said, sir, sa first border inspection, limited lang kasi yung capacity and capability namin for first border inspection.
As per the Justice Department, 75 cases have already been filed over agricultural smuggling. 39 have been dismissed. There's no clarity yet if anyone was convicted for economic sabotage. Reporting for News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
Other than having to compete with smuggled strawberries from Korea, Benguet farmers also have to contend with the elements, making it harder to produce goods. A look at their plight in Jenny Dongan's report.
La Trinidad in Benguet prides itself in being the country's strawberry capital. But in recent months, some local farmers have given up on producing the sweet fruit. After Tropical Storm Maring ruined their seedlings back in September, the likes of Mangkasiano opted to plant vegetables instead.
Dapat sana nakatanim kami ng mga August, September. Pag dating ng December sana may pipitasin na konti kasi yun ang umpisa ng mamunga.
Tinanim niyo muna ngayon dito, sir?
Repolyo.
While La Trinidad still sells strawberries, most of this come from the towns of Atok and Bugyas. But Atok farmers also have to contend with a seasonal frost. And DAP or frost has continuously troubled local farmers for 3 straight days this month. While no crops have been damaged, farmers are not taking chances. They water the frost-cover crops even before dawn.
Prepared talagang before kaming mag-plant kasi alam na namin yung time ng frost. Kaya alam na namin yung tinatanim sa frost area. Ini-spray namin ng tubig para matunaw yung yellow.
Kung hindi, anong mangyayari, sir?
Minor damage lang naman, ma'am.
In spite of this phenomenon, Benguet farmers assure customers that their local produce remains to be of the highest quality. But they have one more worry to deal with, the entry of Korean strawberries in markets like Cebu. After all, this bigger variety is known to have a longer shelf life.
Though they confirm the difference with the taste and textures can be noticeable, Benguet farmers insist that they produce high quality of strawberries.
According to the League of Associations at the La Trinidad vegetable trading areas, while Korean strawberries are cheaper, its quality is compromised by preservatives used to ensure longer shelf life.
Compared po dun sa Benguet strawberry, which is madali po siyang malamog kasi fresh na fresh nga po galing dito sa Benguet. Yun po nagtataka kami kung ano ka po kaya ang preservative na ginamit doon kung bakit ganun katagal matigas pa rin.
Apart from the Korean strawberries which already arrived in Cebu, 2 more container vans carrying 25,000 kilos each are expected to arrive to the country. For now, Benguet farmers assure that their supply of strawberry is enough and sufficient. For News 5, Jenny Dongon, We Are One News.
Tropical Cyclone Rai has intensified into a severe tropical storm ahead of its entry to the Philippine Area of Responsibility. In its 11 a.m. bulletin, Pag-asa last spotted Rai some 1,165 kilometers east of Mindanao, still outside par. Once it enters Philippine jurisdiction, it will be assigned the name Odette. Odette is forecast to strengthen into a typhoon by Wednesday before making landfall in the vicinity of Caraga or eastern Visayas on Thursday afternoon or evening. Pag-asa said they may place localities in the eastern portions of Visayas under signal number 3 by tonight. Due to Tropical Cyclone Odette, the government has decided to move the second round of the National Vaccination Days program in 11 regions next week. According to the Health Department, this is to allow the national and provincial governments to prepare for the onslaught of the tropical storm. The 3-day vaccination, though, will proceed as scheduled in NCR, the Cordilleras and Regions 1 to 4A. Acting presidential spokesperson Carlo Nograles said the drive will still stick to its plan of fully vaccinating 7 million Filipinos.
Looking for a world-class kind of Christmas? Look no further as this Bali-inspired resort in Pantabangan, Nueva Ecija offers just that. For just 300 pesos, one can enter Highland Bali Villas Resort and Spa. It features a giant Belen and a Christmas tree made of crystal inspired by the movie Home Alone. Upstairs are arches full of Capiz carols, Buckingham Palace Guard statues, and Santa's villas. The owner says their ultimate goal is to bring smiles and to commemorate Christ's birth while still heeding health and safety protocols. The MVP group of companies, together with its partners, are in unity in spreading joy and hope this holiday season, and you can be part of this remarkable movement. You may send your donations to the accounts flashed on your screen or contact us on the following details. Tara na sa isang maligayang bayanihan Pilipino.
Time for another quick break. When we return, after the backlash over the decision to remove war heroes on the 1,000 peso bill, the central bank says the current bill will remain in circulation. Some developments on the BDO hacking. The lender says that it's going to reimburse some 700 affected account holders. And basketball fans will finally get to see their favorite cages live after 2 years. The PBA will welcome audience members starting tomorrow. Details after the break.
Good evening. You're still watching The Big Story. I'm Robbie Alampay.
And I'm Maricel Halili. Instead of crushing them to bits, the Customs Bureau held an auction for its confiscated luxury cars.
But the thing is, nobody showed up. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez gives you the front seat to this story.
From the usual season destroy, the government is veering away from its SOP when it comes to smuggled luxury vehicles. Instead of getting crushed, these cars were supposed to raise money through a public auction instead. The auction took place on Monday, led by teams from the Bureau of Customs, Treasury, and Land Bank of the Philippines. Up for grabs were 3 units of Mercedes-Benz, a Porsche, and a Ferrari that were seized earlier this year. Unfortunately, no one showed up, so it was declared as a failed bidding.
A failed bidding may be declared 1. When there is no bid. 2. When the highest bidder fails to comply with any of the payments required.
It could have been the price tags. The 2008 Ferrari, for example, had a floor price of 23 million pesos, while a Mercedes from 2001 had a floor price of 1.3 million pesos. So today is the last day of the 2-day inspection here at the Bureau of Customs for interested bidders. So apparently the government will be selling this on an as-is where-is basis. So meaning what you see is what you get. So let's try to check the condition of the cars like this Ferrari, which is the most expensive. It has a floor price of 23.2 million pesos. The emblem on the steering wheel, on the car hood, and on one side of its fenders have been removed. The car's interior also has missing parts. Guess this is not going to be the Ferrari 430 Scuderia of your dreams. Same goes for others, like this Porsche Boxster 2001 with a floor price of 1.8 million pesos. Aside from minor dents, the car has no rear view mirror and its windscreen is also broken. So what's Customs going to do now that their plan to raise money has failed?
We must now proceed to the second bidding. So as I said, regulation states that when a failed bidding is declared, the item or sale lot shall be reoffered.
The Bureau of Customs hasn't announced a date for the second auction. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez, We Are One News.
Time for an express look at some of the day's big stories. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas says the existing 1,000 peso banknote will remain in circulation alongside the proposed new polymer banknote. According to BSP Governor Benjamin Jokno, it will coexist with the new banknote bearing the image of the Philippine eagle. In light of the recent online banking fraud, BDO is requesting their nearly 700 affected clients to submit documentation of the fraudulent activity in one of their branches to process the refund. BDO guarantees to work closely with the BSP to prevent further cybersecurity breaches.
After almost 2 years, the PBA will welcome back fans to the games. Starting tomorrow, the league will play Governor's Cup games at the Smart Araneta Coliseum and will accommodate live audience again. We had a chance to look at the preparations to make sure health and safety protocols will be observed. Aside from vaccination cards and a government-issued ID, watchers will be required to bring their QC pass for contact tracing. Once inside the Big Dome, fans will sit 2 seats apart to maintain social distancing.
Siyempre, hindi kumpleto ang inyong panonood dito sa Big Dome kung hindi ka makakakain dahil siyempre ma-excite ka. Pwedeng kumain dahil meron tayong mga assigned eating area dito sa concourse ng Araneta Coliseum.
Venue officials also assured that their staff have been tested to ensure the safety of both the fans and the teams. Die-hard PBA fans like TJ Briones are excited to watch the games live.
Biruin mo kahit saan ka magpunta, mapa-terminal man ng jeep, tricycle, kung saan-saan ka tumingin, may mga tao talaga na nanonood ng PBA. Naging talagang parte na po talaga ng buhay ng mga Pilipino ang panonood ng PBA.
The Magnolia Hotshots will take on the Terra Firma Jeep at 3 p.m. on Wednesday, followed by the match between reigning Philippine Cup champions TNT Tropangega and the NLEX Road Warriors at 6 p.m. For News 5, Marty Bautista. We are One News.
Planning to go out with friends this Christmas season? Here's a good or maybe not so good plan to do when dining out.
A group of friends posted on TikTok a new way to spice up their get-together. Ever heard of credit card roulette? That's precisely what they did. In the game of chance, those in the dinner had to surrender their credit or debit card. The waitress or waiter will choose at random the card which will be used to pay the bill.
According to the uploader from Rom Tubble, they had to, or Rom Tuble, they had just received their 13th month pay and decided to have some fun with it. Unfortunately, for the one recording the video, her card was handpicked by the waitress. Ngayon na lang lumabas, hindi na ulit lalabas yun.
Ang stressful nun eh.
Speaking of stressful, baka nahihirapan kayo mag-cover ngayon.
Yeah. Parang di kaya nagroleta rin yung ilang politicians natin. Sino tatakbo sa atin? Roleta na lang natin. Ganun nangyari. But let's see what will happen.
We'll see. We will follow that story, of course.
Yes. 11 days to go before Christmas. Tuloy pa rin ang Pasko, mga kapatid. And that wraps up today's big story. Catch us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Signal Channels 8 and 250.
Please like our Facebook page, One News. For more in-depth analysis, visit our webpage, onenews.ph. Mask on.
Wash hands.
And stay safe, Philippines. I'm Robbie Alampay.
And on behalf of Gretchen Ho, I'm Maricel Halid. We are One News. Good evening.
Tuloy pa rin ang Pasko ng Pinoy kahit ano pa mang pasakit sa atin dumalaki. Pag-ibig sa ating puso ay mamamalagi na para bang ngiti dito sa ating labi.
Basta ating mga puso ay magkakaritmo, magkasalit magkarama, yan lang ang hiling ko. Asahan mong tuloy pa rin ang Pasko, maligayang bayanihan, Pilipino. Woo!